at 255 1/4 pounds. With a record of 20 wins, only 1 defeat, he has 18 big wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his second attempt at a world title, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former Olympian and current WBC mandatory ranked heavyweight contender, introducing the challenger, Dominic Brazil. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with bronze trim, fighting out of and representing his home of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He weighed in at a ready 223 1/4 pounds, a 2008 Olympic bronze medalist who is undefeated in his campaign as a professional with a tremendous record of 40 wins, no losses, 1 draw, with 39 big wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the 9th consecutive defense of his title, here is America's only heavyweight world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the hard-hitting, reigning and defending, undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, introducing the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. And once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Harvey Dock.
Okay, boxers, we went over the instructions earlier. As a reminder, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Touch gloves.
No surprise that Brazil was reticent in touching gloves with Deontay Wilder. Verbal warfare about to manifest here. The ticking time bomb about to explode. Deontay Wilder 40-0 with 1 draw, 39 knockouts. Dominic Brazil 20-1 with 18 knockouts. Referee is Harvey Dock. This is his 214th professional fight. The bell and round 1. Brazil hoping to produce a bazinga moment as he puts his own Big Bang Theory to the test. Wilder, who procured the heavyweight title against Berman Stavern, Stavern being the first person to go the distance with Wilder. Wilder obliterated him in the rematch, and Wilder told us that he is going to treat Brazil exactly the same way as he lands the 1-2 combination early.
The key thing about this fight is Dominic Brazil is a slow starter. Everybody knows it, and the question is, can Wilder take advantage of that?
We talked about Brazil having 18 knockouts total. Wilder has 19 first-round KOs. Ooh, going to the body with that left hand.
And rarely does Wilder go down there.
And that's something his trainer, former welterweight champion Mark Breland, told me he wants him to go to the body and then double punch, Paulie. Go to the body with the right and then the right uppercut on the inside.
Well, both guys have mentioned they need to go to the body against the other, so it'll be interesting to see how they implement that game plan. Brazil is a guy who takes a good headshot and has been a stubborn guy. We saw it in the Joshua fight.
Well, you know, he's shaking his head. He's getting hit with whack with the right hand.
And that's been the thing that already hurts. Wilder,
top of the head,
all over Brazil, mauling Brazil in the corner. Oh, but Brazil comes back with a counter right hand and another right hand. Fierce exchange here in round 1.
And that's the thing with these big guys. Any punch can change momentum. Brazil was sent reeling with that big shot, but then he got Wilder off of him by landing his own right hand.
The crowd already in fuego, like the action here in the first frame. Brazil survives his first taste of adversity.
Show you the firepower of Wilder. That punch landed on top of the head, not even on the chin or anywhere on the face, and Brazil was stumbling a little bit. But credit to Brazil for having the character to throw with him. And
Wilder hit Brazil so hard, they are feeling it in Brazil. Mamma mia! What a KO! 9, 10. And despite Brazil getting up to his feet, he's in no condition to continue, Al.
That is what Deontay Wilder wanted. The early part of this fight was a danger for Brazil. And he's done what he has done so many times before, used his power to end fights.
And he was angry after the Fury fight, felt he didn't get his respect, made a statement. That is a statement win tonight. Anthony Joshua said he hoped that Wilder didn't finish Brazil before he did because he knew that would be compared. Well, that is a statement if ever there was to be made one. Less than a round, Brazil, who's usually a sturdy, durable guy, is disposed of.
When it comes to knockouts, this is 40. And Wilder's 20th first-round knockout. Wilder and the crowd here at Barclays wilding. The fans come for the knockouts, Al. It doesn't get more impressive than that.
It was impressive because of the things Paulie referenced. Brazil is durable. It took Anthony Joshua longer to get him out, and so that becomes a statement for Wilder, as Paulie said. And for Dominic Brazil, very, very disappointing. Obviously, he felt he could get inside, muscle Wilder, make this a long fight, get something done. He didn't even come close. And that win is called marketing. And that's interesting because Wilder hugging Maurice Suleiman, who had some negative words to say.
Wilder for what he had to say about Brazil. Definitely crossed the line. But he crosses the finish line in this fight in a hurry.
This fight, from the overhead camera that we have, to demonstrate to you what took place in this very short but very potent fight. We all knew that Dominic Brazil had problems early in the fight. Wilder suggested that he was going to try and come out aggressive, and that is exactly what he did. And Brazil gets hit with right hands, and Paulie, that was his downdoing in this fight as it would move on.
Yeah, the two right hands by Wilder were the biggest punches. That one actually came up a little short, I remember, but the one that lands on top of the head sends Dominic reeling, and then later on, the right hand to the face, or to the chin even, ended the fight.
And early on here, Brazil was hit with a couple of punches in which he shook his head to indicate it wasn't hurting him, and maybe they didn't before the one that landed did, but whatever the case, Deontay Wilder was able to get the right hand on a regular basis. That was a very seldom used left hook by Wilder, but he did land it there. And he's using the jab to set things up to try and get the right hand.
And again, I really believe that Wilder's jab goes the kind of fight he's going to fight and how successful he's going to be. And he's dictated with the jab from the beginning of this fight, and we saw what the results have brought him.
And you know, showing it from this angle is fascinating because
it
shows you the distance between these two fighters and shows you how Brazil was trying to get inside and walk him down. But
what's the difference? The difference, and there's Wilder when he hurt Brazil. The difference is Brazil's trying to walk in with no jab. And that's the right hand that actually got Wilder off of Brazil. But again, Brazil trying to come in, flaring punches, and showing his toughness, which he always has. But Wilder's technique to come in behind the jab is the critical difference.
And he would set up this right hand coming up, one that was heard around the world because it was an astonishing right hand that just sent Brazil down. And you don't see one-punch knockouts that often, even in the heavyweight division.
Brazil with a tentative jab, just not believing in his jab enough, and it wasn't getting him the results he needed. And Wilder's jab got him that result. Hides the right hand.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Not quite beating this kind of celebration is what that knockout created for Deontay Wilder.
We talked about Deontay Wilder's emotion before this fight and going into this fight. It's one of the things that makes him exciting. And he clearly was fighting with emotion. He had a disdain for Brazil, and he took it out in that first round.
The first right hand that we saw from that overhead, we'll now take a look at from our normal angle. And the left hand of Brazil down low Wilder landing a nice straight right hand. And I'll tell you, sometimes Deontay Wilder throws a wider right hand. In this instance, it was a straight right hand, and that was what was necessary to get it in. Here's where the knockout. He will use the jab effectively and throw the right hand. This is what Deontay Wilder does.
Yeah. And Brazil was trying to counter with a sweeping hook, counter Deontay's jab, but wasn't quick enough. And the quickest way to the quickest point from A to B is always that straight line, and the right hand straight down the middle.
Deontay Wilder put Dominic Brazil's body in airplane mode, my friends.
That is true. And you know, Brazil fought this whole fight at long range in this first round, and this was kind of inevitable because of that. And we got another look at how it was set up.
He fought at long range without using the snapping jab to protect himself and close the gap.
And we'll get one more look.
Did.
And what did the legendary trainer Emmanuel Stewart say? Knockouts sell, Al.
Yeah, and that's what Deontay Wilder did here. And that last look at this knockdown just demonstrates how powerful Wilder is.
Yeah, that's on the chin. I mean, that landed right on the chin. I think he was out before he hit the ground.
The Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder, with his 9th successful title defense. There will be no winds of change on this night as Wilder breezes past Brazil. Wilder's family at ringside exploding in jubilation. Let's make it official with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 17 seconds of round number 1. Our referee in charge, Harvey Dock, reaches the count of 10. He is the winner by way of knockout and still the reigning, undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
All right, Deontay, congratulations. Been a lot of pent-up frustration against Dominic Brazil. Describe your emotions that led up to this.
If you give God the glory, he will give you the victory.